After Aristotle's parents died, he was sent at age 17 to Athens to study at Plato's academy.
For 20 years, he studied under Plato, questioning, debating, and searching for truth.
He studied biology, logic, ethics, and politics, laying foundations for Western science.
After Plato died, Aristotle left Athens and eventually became tutor to a young prince.
That prince was Alexander of Macedon, just 13, curious and ambitious. Philip had united much of Greece under Macedonian rule with diplomacy and force. Aristotle taught him philosophy, rhetoric, medicine, and the Homeric epics. Alexander absorbed these lessons and dreamed far beyond Greece's borders.
In 336 BCE, at just 20, he became king after his father, Philip II, was assassinated.
Now Alexander inherited that power and looked east, toward Persia. Persia was the greatest empire the world had ever seen, stretching from India to Egypt.
Alexander declared this invasion a holy war, Spiephilis, revenge for Xerxes' invasion of Greece.
In 334 BCE, he crossed into Asia with 35,000 men and never looked back.
His first major test came at the Granicus River against Persian satraps.
Alexander led the cavalry charge himself, nearly dying in the brutal melee.
This line represents recklessness, this, cowardice. True courage, Alexander, lies here, in the Golden Mean.
Victory at Granicus opened the door to Asia Minor and its wealthy Greek cities.
After Granicus, Alexander declared himself champion of all Greeks against Persia.
He marched south, liberating Greek cities in Asia Minor from Persian control.
In 333 BCE, Alexander faced King Darius III himself at the Battle of Issus.
Aristotle trained him in logic, teaching him to weigh evidence before making decisions.
Alexander concentrated his cavalry into a wedge and drove straight into the Persian line.
Though vastly outnumbered, Alexander's tactics broke the Persian line and sent Darius fleeing. Caught off guard, Darius fled the battlefield, abandoning his family and treasure. After Issus, Alexander turned to the fortified island city of Tyre, an impossible target. He built a causeway out into the sea, turning the island into a peninsula, and took the city by storm.
Next, he marched into Egypt, welcomed as a liberator from Persian rule.
Aristotle taught Alexander the value of seeking knowledge from many sources, not just one tradition.
In 331 BCE, Alexander faced Darius again at Gaugamela, outnumbered nearly 5-1.
He had the ability to see the battlefield as a whole, yet act swiftly at the front.
His charisma made soldiers believe they could achieve the impossible.
He used a diagonal advance, luring the Persians off balance, then struck with a decisive cavalry charge.
Darius fled once more, and with him, the Persian Empire collapsed.
In Persepolis, he seized the treasury, enough wealth to fund endless campaigns.
Still chasing Darius, Alexander pursued him east, only to find that he was murdered by his own men.
Declaring himself ruler of Asia, Alexander adopted Persian dress and customs to unify his empire.
But his ambition drove him farther east, leading his men through deserts, mountains, and endless battles.
In 331 BCE, Alexander founded a new city on the Nile Delta, Alexandria.
He envisioned it as a bridge between Greek and Egyptian cultures, and a center of trade and knowledge.
Under his successors, Alexandria became home to the greatest library of the ancient world.
It was said to contain hundreds of thousands of works, an attempt to gather all the world's knowledge. Crossing the Hindu Kush, he mastered terrain as much as enemies, moving faster than anyone thought possible. In the Sogdian campaign, he faced guerrilla resistance, but adapted with relentless sieges and swift strikes. At the Rock of Aornos, he scaled sheer cliffs to take an unconquerable fortress. He crossed the flooded Hydaspes River at night, outflanking Porus and striking from an unexpected direction. Even after victory, he honored Porus, recognizing strength in an enemy and making him an ally.
But at the Hyphasis River, his weary soldiers refused to march any farther.
By 324 BCE, he returned to Babylon, master of a vast empire stretching from Greece to India.
Yet in 323 BCE, at just 32 years old, Alexander fell ill and died, leaving no clear heir.
His empire fractured among his generals, but his legend endured.
Everywhere he went, Alexander founded cities, each a hub for trad, culture, and Greek learning.
Through these cities, Greek language and philosophy spread, mixing with Eastern traditions. This fusion created the Hellenistic world, a new era of shared science, art, and ideas.
His empire did not last, but the exchange of ideas he sparked endured for centuries.
From philosophy to science, from architecture to politics, Alexander's vision reshaped the ancient world.
And it all began with the teachings of one philosopher, passed on to one ambitious student.